Good morning, good ride lovers. What a beautiful day. Well, it's not much sunny actually, but it's dry, at least for now, and it doesn't concern the road is wet, but anyway, a very good weather. So, a subject that I touched a little in my previous videos, but I wanted to talk about this a little more. So, the motorcycles that I had. This is literally 13th or 12th, I would need to count them, but 12th or 13th motorcycle that I own. Now let's start from the beginning, and I'm gonna try to display pictures of the motorcycles I had. Not all of them will be my pictures, they will be borrowed pictures, but anyway, you'll get the picture of what kind of a motorcycles I had. So the first ever motorcycle that I bought, and I was like 21, 22 years old, I guess. It was an MZ ETZ 250 from 1989. That was well, I know that there are a lot of MZ motorcycles lovers there, and for those who don't know what this is a German motorcycle which was very popular in Poland and Germany, obviously, in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and in the 90s too. And it was amazing to have a first motorcycle. And at the same time, my good friend Maciej already had a Suzuki GS400, which was a badass motorcycle to have there, and it was early 2000s, and the distance between those two motorcycles was amazing, was gigantic, right? There was absolutely no comparison between those two motorcycles. After you actually can see that they both have two wheels, right? Oh yeah, great. Not too fast, man. Anyway, the motorcycle was a two-stroke 250cc. I have no idea what kind of power it has. It had 20-something horses, so not too powerful, but on the other hand, it was a 2cc, so it was very heavy motorcycle. It was red with silver flames on the tank. And I bought it so cheap. It was my first motorcycle, and I ridden it to work and back, and then amazing time. And then I killed the electrics in it, and then I killed the engine in it, and then I sold it with the killed engine. The second motorcycle I had was a WSK 125 Lelek. So that's a piece of equipment. I have no idea what year it was, but I guess it was something like a 1970 something. And it was a proper scrambler, despite the fact that it didn't run. And I only made it worse because I started to disassemble it, and I was kind of too young to understand the value of the motorcycle, because right now it is worth quite a big money here in Poland because of all the nostalgia about those Polish motorcycles, because yeah, WSK was a Polish motorcycle. And there is a great video done by FortNine about this kind of engines that they were mounted in the WSK. He even mentions WSK as one of the motorcycles to have that engine. I'm going to give you a link in the description. It's very good material to watch. Yeah, so it didn't run, and I sold it like in 15 minutes on Polish eBay something website to a guy who paid up front, not even looking at the motorcycle. This only proved how valuable it was, because I bought it for like $100, even lower, and I sold it for like something like $500 after a couple of months of having it and having it disassembled. Now the third motorcycle that I had was not really a motorcycle, some would say. It was a Vespa. It was a 2003 or 2005, I believe, Vespa ET2, again a two-stroke, a 50cc engine. So it was a moped, as you would call it, or it was just a Vespa. And you know how Vespa looks, and here's the picture. It was amazing. It was running. It had some issues, I'm not saying it didn't, but I fixed all of it. I replaced parts in it. I had some problems with carburetor. I had some problem with the tank because someone used a too long screw to screw out a blinker, a rear right blinker, and they went through the tank, and because it was plastic it was leaking if you had more fuel than half of a tank. And I had fun with that motorcycle, really. All my friends or you know, or my girlfriends, and I'm not saying girlfriends like they were with me, but friends who were girls, they had so much fun riding that Vespa with me, and we did a lot of kilometers together through the city of FortNine and going to the movies, etc. It was great, amazing actually. And then of course I sold it because I'm not very faithful if it comes to motorcycles and cars. And then I bought myself, I believe, an MZ125 Supermoto, and that was an amazing motorcycle. It had, I believe it was a Rotax 125 engine, and it was great, really great. It was a proper supermoto, super light. It was like, I don't know, I believe it was something like 120, maybe 130 kilograms. Of course it only had like 15 horsepower, but it was amazing. A great motorcycle. Again, a girl magnet. I gave a ride to almost all of my friends on it, and it was amazing. I did trips for like 200-300 kilometers at once, and it was super fun. Well, that's why you call it supermoto, right? And after that I started to understand that the motorcycles that I really like are retro motorcycles, old motorcycles. So what I did, I bought a 1983 Suzuki GS400. It was a 4-stroke, 2-cylinder, and it kind of ran because it when we went to buy it with my good friend Arek, it was running, and then we said that yeah, we're gonna take it and ride it home, which was only like 50 kilometers, I believe. And the guy just made a big eyes and said, okay, so you are going to ride it home? Oh yeah, you can try if you like to. And we did, and it got home barely, because like a 1 kilometer before house it started to lose power. What occurred in the future after that is that it had no charging. It has no electricity actually working correctly. So yeah, the bike ended up in a shed, in a garage, then in a basement when we moved with my parents, and I also disassembled it. But I have a few photos so we can watch. There was a big plan to make it a coffee racer, or maybe something more like a Brad style motorcycle. I don't know if you know those, probably do. And I've started to do it. I even designed how the tank should look like. I bought some equipment like rear shocks. I bought tires for it, and I bought mufflers. Yeah, great mufflers from a guy who was actually manufacturing them manually in Krakow, in Poland, and I bought those amazing ones. I never fit them on a motorcycle. And then while I had this GS400, I also bought myself probably the best motorcycle I ever had. And it was a 1978 Yamaha XS400, also a twin cylinder, also a 4-stroke. Amazing motorcycle, the best motorcycle I've ever had, and kind of a reason why I have this one right now. I always dreamed about having a Yamaha XS650, which in Europe is kind of a unicorn. You don't have too much of those, and if there are any, they are super expensive. You can bag only the XS650 specials, but not the one with the flat seat, which is which is the better looking one, right? So I had this XS400 and it gave me a ton of problems, but I still loved it. And then we moved me with my wife to a new home. It was an apartment, and the neighbor saw that I have this motorcycle, and he actually granted me his own garage. He said, "Dude, you really like this motorcycle. Don't put it outside. There's the keys to my garage. Go ahead, feel free to use it, and yeah, have fun with it." And I did a lot of things to this motorcycle. I did carburetors, I did electronics, I did switch replacement. I had some problems with the starter motor. A lot of work, and again, huge number of kilometers. And then I had a whole bunch of scooters. Now I had actually, I think that the Suzuki Burgman 250 was before even the XS400, and this was probably the most comfortable motorcycle I had, despite the fact that it looked like crap. It really looked like crap, but the position on this scooter, it was very low. And the brakes, oh my god, the brakes were fantastic. They had this brake that it's called ATV, I think, is ABS now. And how do you call the system when you are using one brake, both wheels are actually braking, one brake lever to the for both brakes? So it had that, and the brakes were amazing. It was a very safe motorcycle. It was great to get it on a trip and then just ride it. But again, I'm not faithful for the motorcycles or cars, so yeah, I sold it. And then I had, I believe the next motorcycle was a Yamaha Majesty 400. So 1-cylinder, 400cc, 4-stroke scooter. Sorry guys. The adrenaline rush. It just jumped on me. Okay, let's get back. So what was I talking about? Yeah, the Yamaha Majesty 400. A big scooter, a maxi scooter, powerful. It was going like 140 or 150 kilometers an hour, so it was quite fast for a scooter. Great trunk. You could put as many things in there as you would like to, and it was amazingly great. And I had trips to the sea and back again. And yeah, great motorcycle. And then, or maybe before, because I'm losing right now the order here, I had a Peugeot Satellis 125 scooter, and it burned down. Yeah, so I had a crash on that one. A guy went out of the left lane to the right lane while I was passing him by, and he hit me. So that was the first crash that I had. Not the first crash, but I had one with the MZ 125 Supermoto earlier, but that one was done just by me, right? But the one on the Satellis, I'm talking about this because it crashed and it looked okay, but after a while it happened that it happened that the motorcycle had a leak from the battery, and the acid actually screwed up the wiring, and the motorcycle burned down, had a self-burning issue, so it went into flames in front of my house, burning part of the house and melting a little over my car. Now that was an adventure that I would not like to go again, especially that my neighbors weren't very happy about this, because this motorcycle burned down right in front of their windows, in front of the window, and burned down their part of the house, let's say. And then there was this, then there were Ducatis. So the first one I got was I believe it was 1999 Ducati Monster 600. And it was crappy. I bought it by I went to buy something to a guy who was selling some car parts, I believe, and then there it was, standing just right there. A Ducati 600. It was white with I should have a photo of it, I should give it to you. And it was nice to have something bigger, because this was the biggest motorcycle I had at the time, 600cc. And you know the Ducatis, right? They really ride, even though, oh yeah, there's the F16, sorry for the noise, yeah. There is a military airstrip right in here, and there are F-16s from US flying all the time. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, the Ducati, man, the Ducati. And I love that bike and I hate that bike. First of all, I hate the fact that it had the ugliest wheel ever, the ugliest wheels ever. The Ducati Monsters before the S2Rs and S4Rs had the ugliest wheels ever. The triple arm, they were just ugly as fuck. The only way to have it work was to have a bigger version, Ducati Monster 750 or 900 or 800 with double disc in front. So I hated this motorcycle as much because of how it looked. Then I actually sold it and I bought a 900, a Ducati Monster 900. I believe it was 2002 or 3 again. Man, that bike was fast. And I know, there is a lot of you who had motorcycles that have like 150 and maybe even 200 horsepower, and Ducati only had like 90, or even it was like 88 or 89, something like that. It doesn't sound much, but for me, as this was my biggest motorcycle I had ever, it was freaking fast. It was freaking fast. And I only had courage to do the maximum speed of 180 kilometers an hour. I don't really feel comfortable when riding too fast, but it was thrilling. And the bike, it was spinning the rear wheel every time you actually were starting from the lights, and it went on the wheel whenever you actually twist the throttle a little bit too much. And because I'm quite high, my center of gravity on motorcycle is a bit higher than most of the motorcyclists, so it went on the wheelie, and it was quite frightening. And the vibrations, man, I did not feel my crouch after doing like 50 kilometers on that motorcycle. So I sold it, and then I actually bought, and I feel like I forgot about something, some motorcycles, so it's not 13 yet, right? And then I bought my first car. Well, not my first car, I had cars before, but our first car that I fell in love with, and it was a Mitsubishi Eclipse GT with a 3.0 V6 engine. And that car kind of showed me that you don't need to have a motorcycle to feel great when you are riding or driving. You can actually have a car that is doing this for you. And I did. I bought myself this Eclipse, and for years I didn't have any motorcycles, but I kept dreaming about the Ducati, the one that gave me the impression of being too fast, the 900. So as I didn't want to have a Ducati, I thought that the best thing I can do is actually to buy a new motorcycle. And I went searching, and I'd end up with this, a Royal Enfield 650 Interceptor from 2022. It's a brand new motorcycle. Well, not anymore, right? It has like 2,500 kilometers right now. I did some changes to it, but I already talked about those. And you know why I love this motorcycle? And it's not yet full love I can give it to, because I still think it's not the best motorcycle you can have. There's somewhere a motorcycle that I would rather have, but I don't know how to find it. You know why this motorcycle is great? Because it really reminds me of the Yamaha XS400 I had. It has a similar power. It only produces like 47 horses, and the Yamaha XS400 had like 40. And it is much heavier than the Yamaha. I believe that it's at least, I don't know, 30, maybe even 50 kilograms heavier. But the overall impression when you ride it, the sound of the engine and the speed and everything is quite comparable. Well, it is faster because it's new, right? The Yamaha was already 30 couple years old when I had it, and it had some horses run out of it. But this one is really reminding me of that Yamaha, and that's why I actually ride it, and that's why I have it. And yeah, I will try to have it for longer. Well, I have to. I have a lease to pay out, right? So I'm thinking, if I forget about any motorcycles that I had in my past, I'm quickly trying to remind myself, but no, I believe that's all. That the thing alone. I didn't count them. I believe this is the 13th motorcycle I have. I don't know, maybe you counted them, maybe you didn't. So yeah, that's it. So I'm almost where I'm going to, and I'm going to Starbucks to grab myself a coffee, and then I have a little work to do. So yeah, have a great day, guys. I know it haven't been a very exciting road.